Hey everybody, it's Neil with the Dash the Gentleman, and with me I have Frank. Say hi, Frank.
Hello.
Also, OG Ryan. Say hi.
Oh, who's that there?
And then Jeremiah. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, hey, dude. And tonight we're gonna talk about customer service. We've all done it, and if you haven't, you can take that silver spoon right out of your mouth. Yeah, I said it. We're gonna open up just like that.
I was gonna open up asking about why our intro music always sounds like we're about ready to have like a softcore porn scene with a T-girl, but I guess that's a good one too.
You never know what's going to happen here.
I mean, I usually have a pretty good idea.
I mean, we could talk about that too, but why? Why? I mean, nobody wants to hear about that. Or do they? Alright, so what was your guys' first customer service job? Let's start with Jer since he's on the left for me.
Me. I at high school worked at Blockbuster for a multitude of years.
I like how it got all dark all of a sudden and just a shadow on his face.
I mean, I actually still have all my Blockbuster uniforms and stuff too. So,
any stories you want to tell?
I have a ton of stories.
What's the
I
best
mean,
one?
the best one. I mean, I have some that are probably inappropriate for the podcast.
No, there's no inappropriate unless we're talking politics.
That is true.
So go ahead.
As we're talking, the two, we don't deal with the two P's, politics and PewDiePie.
They're kind of interchangeable sometimes.
There was the time that one of my coworkers banged a transvestite.
Go
Whoops.
on.
No, there was no whoops in that.
I'd like to clarify for everyone that at no point in my life have I ever worked at Blockbuster. Put that out there right now.
The other part, Frank maybe has done, just not the working at Blockbuster.
Yeah, no, I want to make sure they know I didn't work at Blockbuster. That's what's important. I just
Frank, it says here on your passport you've been to Thailand recently?
For a thing.
Several times?
I think if Frank ever went to Thailand, he'd probably never come back.
for the Thailand to come back like 30 pounds lighter.
I mean,
yeah, is that the end of the story? Go on.
oh no. So there was she was very nice. She they used to come into Blockbuster all the time, and I mean it was pretty apparent, and that
Was
it was
Adam Zatwell?
yeah. Oh yeah, that was like the dead giveaway and like the slight stubble on the face, and you know, usually very nice, creepy, like super like weird, like hit on you, like creepy, like whatever. And we always had a thing where it was like, you know, everyone knew. Well, there was a guy that I worked with, and he's a fucking idiot. Like, I don't understand how this guy kept a job. And so the phone rings, and I'm on the other side of the counter or whatever. And the guy that I'm working with, I'm not going to say his name, but he answers the phone, and you know, he's like he talks for like 5 minutes or whatever, and then he's like, hey, he's like, I'm leaving early. He's like, I gotta go pick up Jamie, and I'm like, who? And he's like, oh, you know, the girl that comes in here all the time, and I give him this look like, and he's like, oh no, it's cool. He's gonna give me gas money, and I'm like, don't do it, dude. Don't do it. Well, anyway, so he leaves. I had my shift. I go to see. This is a long time ago. I think episode 3 was like brand new in theaters, and I go see that with like some friends, and I walk back in to Blockbuster like to grab some movies or whatever. We're gonna go hang out after, and the manager that was on duty, he pulls me in the back room and he's like, dude, we need to talk, like, right now. And I'm like, okay. And he comes back in and he pulls me in the back room and he's just like, I'm like with like a group of people that all work there, by the way. And he's like, so Adam, the employee that I worked with, totally banged Jamie. And I'm like, excuse me? And to make it kind of like a short story, basically, he got there, they opened the door, and all they said was plans have changed, and then went down on him, and things went from there. And the very first thing that he did is he came back to Blockbuster to basically be like, yeah, there were balls.
Well, did you stop?
He left.
There's a point of no return,
Yeah, you just gotta go for it.
He left, went to his car, and then he went back and he finished. And then he left. And he drove to Blockbuster, where he worked, to tell everyone.
I mean, you're not gonna let that boner go to waste, are you? I mean,
really should have been like high-fiving each other, I mean,
I didn't lose the erection.
cross that off the bucket list. Really,
I was like,
really,
yeah.
by the way.
I was like, oh, please don't get a boner. And then she did.
yep.
So I'm glad that was revolved around customer service and all, but
The customer was Neil.
yeah,
God.
that is true. Serviced real good.
Real good.
Well, I mean, at least adequately, I guess.
They never came back to Blockbuster after that. I don't know why.
So probably not as good.
It's probably all the late fees.
This same individual is also banned from the place I used to work at for getting into a fist fight with 2 other customers.
That would be funny.
Are you looking at my Adam's apple?
Basically, I wasn't there for it, but from what I heard about it, yeah, these 2 customers approached her and started making, transphobic remarks and stuff and started bullying her, and she pretty much snapped on these 2 guys.
You know what? Good for her.
Yeah,
Good
you
for
know
her.
what?
Fuck.
I mean, I give everybody shit, but
I would love for them to be given bullying her and shit, and she just lays them both the fuck out.
Oh, that would have been grand.
Because I know this person been like halter top and mini skirt and just fucking all the glitter in the world and just knocks them both the fuck out. And then she's standing over the corner of the cops got there fucking like, whoa, motherfucker! I would have just been like, bravo, you fucked all of them up, and it was great.
Here's a free pizza.
Dude, but like with pizzas, so probably would have been like a lot less desirable. But
Yeah.
Making
Nobody
rain
wants it to
pizzas.
rain cheese.
All right. Well, how about you, Frank?
like my first customer service job,
Yeah.
I worked at an answering service. Does that count?
Sure. I mean, you got okay. What was your favorite customer service job?
Is that a thing?
Okay. What's your least hated?
I guess Domino's.
Okay. Tell
I mean,
us-
like if you had a gun to my head and I had to pick one, I guess Domino's.
Tell us about Domino's.
It was a difficult place to work
Why is that?
because the pay was garbage and the expectations were high. We want you to learn how to do everything from start to finish, and we want you to have full availability. If you have another job, we will fire you, but we're only going to let you work 15 hours a week. But you also need to know how to take orders, make pizzas, do all the cleaning, know all of your training, and do all of these extra educational bits, and we are going to pay you $5.50 an hour because you are technically a waiter. And we're going to make a delivery charge for you, but we're going to keep most of it. You get 60%, maybe. And it's all coming back. No, I started as a driver, and at first it was a great gig because, like, we made decent money because the town was doing well, and everybody was pretty generous with their tips. But then, like, the economy started to be shit, and it was really it was really difficult to try to maintain the level of money coming in that I was used to, because in the very beginning, when everything was good, people were tipped. I was getting like $150 a day, and it was nice. But then after that, whenever the economy started to kind of take a downward turn, everything started getting shittier, and then it was like, why am I doing this? I'm making like nothing. I had like a lot of awkward, funny stories where like I think it was my very first weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend, and I was gonna get married in like 3 weeks, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I went to deliver this hotel, and I pull up to the hotel, and the house I need to pull, the room I need to go to is right in front of me. I was like, Providence, boom, because it was packed, it was crowded, it was the only parking spot I could find. It was right in front of the house that I need, or the door that I needed. And I go in and knock on the door, and there were these two girls that were like fit as fuck, and they had to be like 20-ish. And they had G-strings on, and that was it. And they said, "You want to come inside and fuck for a while?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna go." And then I went back to the store, and I told everybody that I'm still sweating. You know, I'm like, "Don't turn around, don't turn this goddamn car around, don't do it." So I drove all the way back there. I mean, they still tipped me well. I mean, which is funny because, you know, they were like,
more than the tip, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would have, you know, most of the guys were like, I would have paid for the pizzas, fucked them both stupid. And I was like, dude, I'm about to get married. And he's like, one of the guys was like, dude, I've been married for 25 years. He's like, I'd have fucking both retarded. My wife would have never known. They're going to leave. I'm like, yeah, but I would know. And he's like, well, that's why you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like,
hey, give me that tip.
Yeah, maybe I didn't do it. But it was funny because, like, that job desensitized me to shit like that. Because then from then on, it was almost like, you know, like every other weekend, I was going to somebody's house and they were naked, or I'd be going down to the Nautical and like there would be a bunch of naked people and G-strings. And then I went to one hotel, I knocked on the door, and dude opens the next door, and he goes, those these pizzas? And I said, yeah, because whenever like I go to a place, there's always a bunch of drunk people that are like, oh, those are my pizzas. And what'd you get? Because I'm not going to give you fucking food that somebody else has already paid for,
right?
And you have no idea what it is, because then I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
And then so what'd you get? And he tells me exactly what he got. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So then he throws the door open completely, and there's a chick on the bed getting fucking Chinese finger trapped by these two dudes. And I was like, okay, well, that's a little weird. And then, so I mean, she's like, honk, 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 honk. And then the one dude's all like, you know, got her head, and he's all, oh, pizza, and then just disconnects, walking around with this like drippy boner, and she's like, oh, good, I was hungry. I'm like, you were having an extra large sausage, so I don't think that you need to eat anything. But then like these two dudes are like walking to me with like dicks out, and I'm like, I would like to go home right now, please. And then the dude that answered the door, he's like, do you know if there's any titty clubs around here? I'm like, you fucking this grade A thing right here, because I mean she was smoking hot. I'm like, why you need tit club? You're okay. Confused. So there are so many of those. I mean, it was funny because after that one I went back to the store and I'm just kind of, I don't understand people. That's weird.
Customer service, dude.
That is customer service. I mean, I worked at Domino's for a long time, so I mean, I have like gazillions of stories. So I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and take up the whole time with it, but you know that is. I'm not displeased to not be doing it anymore. Let me say that.
So what you're saying is all the porno stories of the pizza guy are technically true.
I could have fucked so many girls, and it's stupid that
girls.
No, I mean, I don't even care. Whatever, dude. Just, you know, you close your eyes and you think of Liza Minnelli, and you just, it's fine. But okay, so one of the weirdest ones. This is my last one. I swear to God. I knocked this lady. We do a callback before we go, and then it was a dude that answered, and he says, "Yeah, that's me." And I had to drive out in the asshole end of town, way the fuck up there. And this is like towards the end of my tenure there, so like I'm at this point, I am like class S level of jaded, and I just don't care anymore. And all I care about is money. And so I get to this lady's house, and I knock on the door, and she answers the door in like this corset with no top, just tits out, and a G-string and thigh-high leather boots and a Mardi Gras mask and like little leather gloves, and I was like, and that was it. That's all she got out of me. It was just like a twitch. I was like, okay, because it was weird, not because it was hot, because it was weird. I mean, she was hot, but that's not really why I was. And then I remember she's like, how much was it? And I told her, and then she gave me the money. It was like 1960 something, and she hands me a 20, and I was like, really?
That it?
And she's like, well, is there a problem? And I'm like, you called me way the fuck out here to the BFE to surprise me, and I'm not surprised, and I'm not interested. You're only gonna tip me 30 fucking cents? Are you for real? And she's like, and she just closed the door, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh my god, damn it. I'm like, I don't care about your titties. I have bills to pay. Damn it.
She just flashed her and been like, we're even.
Yeah, but
Better tip, bitch.
and I'm going home. I didn't want to see your titties or your ass. I want here's my nutsack.
Baby.
now throw me some fucking cash. Get fucking 20 back. That's horrible. I mean, that's a job that I punched a customer at, and I didn't get fired.
All right, Ryan, how about you?
My first and last customer service job was with a company called Hastings. A place everybody in this call should probably know pretty well. If you didn't know it, it was a combination of sorts of like a Blockbuster and a Barnes and Noble sort of situation.
And
Looked like a
coffee
hot
shop.
topic.
And and like a Hot Topic, and had some of them had a coffee shop, not all of them.
Yeah.
But
Wish there was more of a sponsor so you can buy dildos there too, because there's enough dildos occupying that store that it would have made sense.
funny enough, actually, if you go on eBay, there's like somebody had linked it in the Facebook group that I'm with of like all the old Hastings employees before it went under. Somebody had linked that somebody on eBay is running like a Hastings shop with like our logo and everything, and it's like all products that we used to carry and dildos. I am not kidding. And people were like, I recognize most of this stuff. Not the dicks. Not the dicks.
This
I
shop is
bet.
dildos.
Are they reasonably priced?
Who's in my?
Nothing bad dragon quality. It's all good.
I forget it.
But
Ah, well.
I think one of my favorite stories that I always like to tell people as far as angry customers go is I had a guy come in and he wanted to return a book. It was a paperback copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And it looked like it had been read in a bathtub 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This thing was beat to shit. Like, I've seen heavily read paperbacks before. This thing didn't, like, that doesn't even touch the level of beat to shit that this book was.
Wow.
And it still on the back had a Hastings price tag, but it was so faded you couldn't read anything on it. You could just barely tell it was one of our price tags. And he had no receipt, couldn't tell me when he bought it, and he wanted a full refund for it. I'm like, fuck you. Not in a chance in hell. And he argued with me for about a solid 15 minutes. And I'm like, I am not, and he went from full refund to trade it out to get a store credit, and like, you just buy it as a used book, which is what we used to do. That we used to buy used books and stuff. And I'm like, not in this fucking condition, I can't. And finally, he gets to the point where he's so sick of what I have to say that he picks the book up off the counter and he chucks it at my face.
Wow.
And it flies like right past my head. And he storms out. And all I gotta say, if that fucker had hit me with that book, he'd have had to move pretty fucking quick.
They're like, son of a bitch.
I'd have been over that counter.
Grab him by his shirt and bring it back. Look more like Jason.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just grab him and rub his face in the book.
No, bad.
Gonna be 20 leagues under the ground if you do that again.
You son of a bitch.
Another story that I always love to tell. We used to bust shoplifters occasionally, and we caught this kid, maybe 15 or 16, stuffing a Playboy down his pants in the magazine section. So we took him back into the office, and we were like, "This kid's young. Let's not call the cops or anything like that. Let's just, we were like, do you have a parent or something that we can call? Get your ass out of here." And he's like, "Yeah, I called my grandpa." And the kid was Native American. And the grandpa comes in, maybe like half hour, 45 minutes later, he makes it down there. He's this like the stereotypical image of like the old wizened Native American chief. Like he's got the sun lines, he's got the headband.
Wow.
This guy looks like he could spit wisdom for the rest of his life and it would be new, completely new wisdom. And this kid is sitting on, like, if you've ever been in an office environment of that sort, the old wooden bar stool that's there. He was just sitting on the wooden bar stool in the office, and this ancient looking Native American chief walks into the office, says nothing to this kid, walks straight up to him, reels back, and just with all his force just smacks that kid off the fucking chair, and he hits the ground.
Oh, damn.
And he leans over him and he goes, "Get up!" And we're all just like,
we should have called the cops.
"Did we call the cops?"
We should.
And the kid doesn't shed a tear or anything, doesn't say a word to this guy, just gets up and leaves. We were like, he ain't done with that kid.
This ain't the first time he done that.
No.
It's just getting started.
It might have been the last time he did it, but it's not.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, but he hit that kid hard.
Wow.
I mean, he sent him flying off that bar stool.
Jesus.
I appreciate him.
Yeah.
All right, so
That's good.
yeah, it was good. So my first customer service job was working as a busser at the London Arms pub down by the London Bridge.
I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
Isn't it long gone now?
I think it's something else
I
now.
probably waited on the table a couple times.
Okay, so at that time I had really long hair, and I had it bleached blonde. But that was because I was dyeing it purple, but I kept on buying fucking purple dye, so eventually the dye would wear out and it'd be bleached blonde. So I just said fuck it, and I'd just be bleached blonde hair. And I remember every fucking table, as soon as people sat down, you gotta count the people, and then go get a bunch of waters for them. So I'd be walking down with my tray of waters, and this old guy is like, "Here she comes!" And I'm like, "Yeah, here I come." And he's like,
I gotta put my man voice on.
he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, it's alright. But I think the worst part about working there was, other than the fact that, you made $3.50 an hour plus whatever the waiters wanted to tip you. Oftentimes they would actually have to give you more money from just from the business, because they weren't quite giving you minimum wage, and that's illegal. But
Even in Arizona?
Yeah.
I
That always made me crazy about like busser positions and waiters and shit, where it's like, you have to depend on tips, but then, well, like, if busters are being paid by waiters, it's like, well, of course the wait staff's not going to give them any money. They're barely getting any money. I mean, like, why the fuck would they pay the buzzers anything? Just pay them fucking minimum wage. No one's going to pay them. I'm sorry. It's like not that hard to figure out.
Yeah, no, it was awful. I mean, it was nice having actual cash on me all the time, but that was, I could have went to the bank.
You should have just been a stripper, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I still can be.
That'll be
You're
me.
getting old, Neil.
That just means that they swing in every direction. That just mean that much more.
That's what I'm talking about. I think the worst part about working there was I actually left there to go work at another job, which I'll tell you about in a second because that one was pretty awesome too. But I came back once I got fired at that job to work at the pub again for about 2 weeks. And then I was seeing this girl in Vegas at the time. And I would drive up there probably about every other weekend, preferably every weekend, because I was a teenager and I wanted to get laid. So every weekend had to happen. But there was this one weekend where I'm like still there, and I had to work that morning. So I had to make it back from Vegas to Havasu by 8 a.m. And I just said, fuck it, I'm going to call in sick. Well, it just so happened about 6 other people called in sick that day. I didn't know this was happening. It was not planned, but yeah, we all got fired and we were replaced the next day. I walk in because I thought I was supposed to, work that day. And he's like, you're not on the schedule anymore. I'm like, I'm right here. I'm on the schedule. He's like, well, here's the new schedule. You're not on it. I'm like, what the fuck happened? He's like, yeah, you called in sick. I'm like, yeah, can I not do that? And he was like, yeah, you and 7 other people. It looked like you orchestrated that shit. And I'm like, okay, I didn't, but... He's like, you're
I'll just get my dick wet, dude.
Can't you understand?
But no, the reason why I got fired from the other job, which is where I was working at Kiowa drive-thru, which, if you're in one of those towns where you don't have drive-thru liquor stores, you're missing out. Because it's a drive-thru liquor store.
You're an alcoholic. That means a lot.
I got a great story about that.
Okay, use we're gonna have a guess.
Oh yeah, dude.
But no, freaking Kiowa. Okay, so we just got this new chick working as the night manager, and she was pretty cute. She was hot, and she was a little bit older. She was kind of milfy. But she was lazy as fuck, and she was using her feminine wiles to get ahead, kind of thing. And what's that?
Sloppy yawns.
Yeah, basically. But so she was there for probably about 2 weeks, and I couldn't fucking stand her because she was just, being a bitch. And I had my routine every night. Okay, I got to make sure all the back stock comes into the cooler, so the drinks are cool for the next day. And I got to go clean all the shit. We would take all the mats from the floor down to, because we had a little drive-through car wash, and we would have to spray them down and stuff. And then she said to me, she's like, you know what, Neil, don't worry about the cooler tonight, just take care of the mats. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna have a pretty easy night. So I go take care of the mats, and I take my sweet time, because usually I'm rushing, but I make sure they're really good and clean. I come back up to the store, and it's about 20 minutes from closing time. It usually takes about an hour and a half to fill the cooler. And she did one fucking, 30-pack of fucking Bud Light. She's like, it's too heavy, I can't do it. I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, bitch, we got 20 minutes.
Bye.
And she's like, you're gonna have to stay late. I'm like, I have to go to high school tomorrow. I am not staying late. And she's like, whatever, you're gonna get fired. I'm like, okay, fine. So I got one of our little we had a deli, so I got one of our sub deli wrappers, and I wrote a big long note on it, and to the actual owner of the shop. He showed up every morning, and I said, this bitch volunteered to do this cooler, and she bailed. Don't fire me, please.
I need the money, man.
I walk in the next day, and he's like, yeah, dude, you're fired, sorry. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I've got school. He's like, yeah, don't come back. I'm like, politics.
That was that town, dude. That was how it was, everywhere.
Yeah.
See, I always I agree and disagree with that, mostly because as an employer there, I was always big on being firm but fair. Mm-hmm. And I was, if you didn't show up for work, I would fire you. Mm-hmm. You're no call, no show. I have no reason for you. You're there, you exist solely for the purpose of making me money. And I was clear about that from the interview. I'm like, if you're not going to work and you're not going to make me money, I'm not going to keep you. I mean, if you keep calling in sick, I'm going to get rid of you and I will replace you. I have a literal fucking cornucopia of options sitting in my desk of people that I could hire to replace you within a single phone call of a ton of high schoolers that need cash. You are that important. Exactly that. So whenever like we'd have somebody, like I never did the politicking, you know, like, oh, I've been here for this long. Are you functioning in your immediate purpose? Well, I mean, the fact that you have to think about it means no. So, I mean, like, so then no, you're not. So you have two options. One, you step it up and do your fucking job. Or two, you just tell me now and leave and I'll immediately replace you. Up to you. And they either would start doing their job or I'd fire them the next day. And there was no in between. And I loved Arizona for that because I could just come and be like, yeah, you're fired. All right, bye everybody. And then just kind of push them out and then call somebody, and within an hour that person's shirt would barely be cold by the time I give it to somebody else. I mean, sometimes I would fire people and their replacement would come in like while they're still there. And
oh, you're still here?
I'll be taking their uniform from them and be like, all right, thanks, now get the fuck out. Hey, welcome to the team.
Put this on.
Don't do this person's thing. Don't do what this person did. Don't be a fucking dummy. Make some money. And then I kick him out. So, I mean, as an employer, I never did the politicking thing because I always felt like if you got too invested in people and did the politicking, you weren't going to make any money and you're going to make everybody fucking miserable because they're...
Wait for it. Oh, no, we're back now.
Oh, we're back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I don't know where we left off.
Sorry about that. One of these days, and actually in about 2 weeks, I won't be on wireless anymore.
It's funny though that we're talking about customer service today because I went to two separate fast food places today. One for me and one for my kids. And the difference in quality of service was just night and day. We went to McDonald's and I had to scream my order at this woman 4 times because I ordered the Happy Meals for my kids and they're just not getting it. They're just not picking up what I'm putting down. And you get to that point where you're so despondent at the little teller thing, you're like, I don't know what else to say. And I'm like, I want a fucking Happy Meal with chicken nuggets. God help me, and apple juice. What is confusing? And they're like, apple slices? No. God.
So help me if I have to come into that fucking store.
Yeah, and then like I pulled up to the first window and the lady's like you wanted the large breakfast with the no I wanted the fucking Happy Meals, I swear to God. And then she says, oh, it's this one, it's the Happy Meals, and I pay, okay. And I get to the next window and the lady is like the lady's like, you order the cheeseburger with a large Sprite, and I'm like, and I'm like, no, ma'am, ordered the Happy Meals, and she's all, and I'm like, I went critical mass. I mean, like I could feel like my nose bleeding, and all I feel my wife just put her hand on my hand, and she goes, shh. I'm like,
Don't you shush me.
yes, please. And then she hands me the stuff, and then she just closes the window, and I'm like, bah! And she's like, what? And I'm like, there were 2 apple juices, please. Like, just keep it together. Don't drag this woman out of the window. And then we went to Firehouse, and the people there, like you walk in and they're super friendly, and they all know my kids. And they all yell to them, and they're all friendly with them. And then everybody there was super fast and efficient. Our food was already done. The franchisee knows me by name and by sight. He comes in, asks me how I'm doing, gives my kids the little fireman hats, and like they all just run around. They love the place. Everybody there is fast, friendly. They've never fucked up my order ever. They always know what the hell I'm talking about. And I'm like, that's what I wanted. That's all I wanted. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how much for customer service you do a service to yourself just by listening to what the fuck people are saying. And I know that it's easy to get caught up in like the little you go through the motions, because sometimes like you go up, like even if like you go up to places and you're like I want a large I want a large double Whopper with fries, and they're like, do you want them to make that a double? And you're like, yeah, a large double Whopper with fries. Do you want fries with that? Yes. And then you learn just to stop. Like, you try to like tell people like your full order like all at once. So you have to quit that. I mean, especially like places like McDonald's, where like you have to let them ask the questions. And that's something that always used to make me crazy, like with my CSRs at Domino's. And I'm like, if they're telling you right out of the gate, just fucking put it in. Don't make them repeat it, because then they're gonna get pissed off. Because I know I get pissed off. I get pissed as shit if I say something and nobody's listening to me. I'm just like, I'm just leaving, because I'm like, if I can't, if you're clearly not into this. You know, I'm like, you're not into this. I'm not. I'm getting out of there. Fuck you. I'm out of here. I'm done. You can lose your job.
That's like one of my biggest pet peeves at drive-thrus. And when you pull up and they go, "All right, order whenever you're ready," and you're just like, "Boom, I'm on it. I know what I want." You place your order, and they go, "Okay, one moment." And then like a minute later, they're like, "Okay, sorry, can you repeat that?" If you're not fucking ready, don't tell me to order when I'm ready.
Just. Like, you know, say what you mean what you say. I mean, like, if you're fucking ready, you should be ready. You should be there. I mean, like, dude, I'm there. I'm ready to pole vault through this fucking window if you don't get your shit together. I'm about to clear this hurdle and do it myself. I mean, please, just listen or do what you say. That's all I want.
See, hold on. We're dropping.
We're back. We're back.
We're good.
Nope. Yeah.
So, I get a lot of that. And it's kind of in reverse, because, I mean, right now my current job is I'm doing help desk for IT, which isn't my ideal position, but it's a job and I can do it from home. Ha! So, we're doing a heavy migration right now, and the entire company is migrating from one domain to another. And I think probably about 4 or 5 times a day now, I'm having to describe to people what a backspace is. Or not a backspace, a backslash. You know? It's the one underneath the backspace key. It's the one above the enter key. No, not the one. That's a question mark if you hold shift. Are you... It's still not working. Jesus Christ. It goes from bottom left... It goes from top left to bottom right. Come on now.
I don't know. My blood pressure's going up just by you telling the story.
And it's the worst part of it is like, 'cause I'll start out and I'll be like, you know what? They know what a backslash is. So I'm just gonna tell them, you need to put in this backslash your username. It's not working. Did you spell the domain right? I know how to spell. Do you know what a backslash is? Yeah, it's by the question mark. Fuck. Like, I would flip my desk every time if I didn't have to pick my shit up and put it back on the desk. But I mean, at the same time, I'm pretty sure I come off very frustrating to customers because I'm in a position where I have to do a shit ton at once. I have to meet my quotas. I have to meet my, remember call handling time, Jer?
Yeah, I know all about that, dude.
I have to meet my handling time. So, like, I'm having to do all this shit simultaneously. So I'll say, thanks for calling. How can I help you? And meanwhile, I'm filling out another ticket. And they'll tell me, and I'll get the gist of what their problem is. And they'll tell me more to it, but usually I just need their first and last name and stuff. And kind of a description of their problem, because it's probably the 70th time I've heard it that day. And then I'll wait for them to stop talking, because they don't stop talking.
Ever.
I'll be like, all right, now that you're done with your story, can I please have your first and last name? And again, what was your problem again? Just tell me give me the cliff notes.
Yeah. Whenever I worked at the answering service, that's how I felt. Never because we used to have like a lot of like medical stuff, and so people would call in, and then I get their name and they get their phone number, and then I'd ask somebody like, "Now, what seems to be the trouble?" And it was always like, "Well, let me tell you." Like, oh god, like that's not what I want. That's not what I meant. Just in 20 words or less, tell me what your problem is.
No. I asked for your name. I don't want your life story. Just give me your fucking name.
Yeah, just give me your name. That's all I want. I just want your fucking name. Your doctor's gonna know who you are. They're gonna know all the things that are fucking wrong with you.
Let me tell
I
you,
don't give a
back
shit.
in 1955, I twisted my ankle.
Back in the Greece, I had fucking 1936. I lost the feeling of both my legs. I don't know why I feel that. Oh, they're not there.
I had an elderly lady come into Hastings looking to sell a good-sized stack of DVDs to us, and literally everyone, she wouldn't just like put the stack on the counter and be like, okay, go through them. What you can buy. She wanted to hand them to me one at a time and explain what each one was and like where she got it, whether or not it was a gift, what the relation to the person that bought the gift for her was, you know, what the movie personally fucking meant to her, and then she would move on to the next movie. Like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Bitch, I don't care if you told me you stole them all.
It's like
From this store.
Like, lady, look, I know that these all have apparently very personal value to you, and that each one of them is a treasured memory. Maybe you shouldn't sell them here. Maybe you should go literally anywhere else. Maybe you should have a yard sale, and then you could have some iced tea, and you could tell everyone on the planet that shows up what the fuck these are. We don't care. We deal in volume. I'm sorry. You're just.
I realize
placard.
they have a lot of sentimental value to you, lady. You ain't getting more than $1 for them, though.
Wow, this is the movie that you played at your daughter's funeral? Here's $1.
Yep.
I can't just sell it for more because I'm telling the customer, hey, this lady that sold it to me played it at her daughter's funeral.
Yeah.
Give me $3 more.
Can you imagine if the products that you bought from people then to resell, you were able to arbitrarily raise or lower the value depending on the circumstances of which they were returned to you? Because then, like, you have people bring in like a stack of DVDs and be like, okay, what's the story with them? You know, like where'd they come from? I mean, like, this one fell in the back of a truck, you fucking thief, 30 cents. I'm gonna sell it for $1 because I believe in justice. And then like, but then it's like, you know, this was my granddad's favorite war movie. It's John Wayne. Oh, $46 for a 5-cent movie from Walmart. Oh, fuck.
I'm still only giving you 30 cents, but
I'm only giving you 30 cents. But I mean, like, just imagine the 4 cents I would have given you if you had stolen this movie. You know. But because this has more value to you, it should have more value to us. So we're gonna make it $46 for anyone else that comes and tries to buy it.
That's like typical pawn shop rules right there. It's like, look, I understand that this fucking necklace or whatever was handed down like through 3 or 4 generations. It's still only worth about $100. I don't care what it's valued to you.
Yeah.
That Pawn Stars makes me crazy because like sometimes like he brings in people bring in shit. I mean like I know the whole show's fake. Like I mean like, I'm gonna get that right. I know that it's fake. That's fine, whatever. But then people bring in shit and like here are these genuine Viking coins, and the guy's like, I'll give you $50. I'm like, fuck you. They're like 1,400 years old. Are you kidding me? I'm like, 500. Get the fuck out of here. I mean like. And then, like, because they had like some of these leaflet handwritten letters by John Wilkes Booth that somebody was trying to turn in because they were like a descendant or some shit like that. And he says, he was like, he says, well, they're pretty interesting. So I mean, I could give you most I could go is about $250. And I'm like, they're penned from the man who assassinated Abraham Lincoln, confirmed by somebody in the Historical Society. Are you kidding me? What? How are you in business? I mean, like, who's so fucking desperate that they're like, I'm gonna take this noticeable piece of history to this fucking pawn shop to be appraised at like ridiculously low value, and then be like, I'm gonna take it. Sounds good. Give it to me.
Buy that meth.
I was gonna say, dude, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I mean, like, the only time I would accept that is if it was like some dude off the street was like, look, I got you say that John Wilkes Booth, and he's still got blood on his hands and wrists, and he's like, I found him. I don't know, there was out there in the dumpster. Like, what do you give me for him? Yeah, I'm like, okay, $250. Yeah, I'll give you that, because then that's like, becomes like that moral.
That shot Lincoln, man. What do you give me for it?
I'll suck your dick also, man. All right, $60.
Yeah, I mean that is one of those things where it becomes like a moral judgment. Be like this guy clearly stole this shit, but I have no way to prove that, so I'm gonna bilk him on the price and make a bunch of money. Fine.
Mountain back.
Yeah, I mean, just I'll give you $60 and then just all the money. Just give it to me. Ugh. I hate that fucking show. I hate that show. The shit that he gets to handle and then just fuck people over. It's one of those like this is customer service gone totally wrong. Or it's normal pawn shop attitude, and I don't frequent pawn shops, so I couldn't really tell you. But like whenever like they value stuff and he says it's like $50, I'm like, I would kill you just for suggesting it. You know, like oh, this sword's like 400 years old. I mean, it's in pretty poor condition. Well, no shit. I mean, like, did you expect it to be in pristine, like edged condition? And then he's like, oh, I'll give you $1,000. So we're fine.
Come on now. And we're black.
Thanks, guys, for waiting.
We paused the story for you. Jer, tell us about when you blasted a hobo.
Oh man, hobo. There used to be a hobo that used to go to the gas station I worked at, and you know it's Arizona. It's like 120 outside, and I used to be a nice person. This is only working like a few years in customer service before I literally stopped giving a shit about everyone.
Before the dark days.
And he used to come in and I was always like, you can come in, you can go get like a cup of water in the back, because we had like ice water or whatever. And I was like, we got a newspaper, we got a couple tables, The only thing that I just ask is don't beg for money. You can come in here, you can read the fucking newspaper, you can listen to music, you can get out of the fucking heat. You can sit here all fucking day, just don't beg for money. Well, he comes in or whatever, and he's sitting there and like he's probably been there for like a few hours, and all of a sudden he leaves, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, no more than a few minutes later, this lady comes in. Excuse me, there's a homeless man out there asking people for money. So I go outside, and I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Like, I told you, don't fucking do this, whatever, leave. And he's, talks to himself, kind of wanders off into the desert. And I'm like, all right, whatever, go back inside. Like, a few minutes later, some more people come in. And somebody's like, hey, there's a homeless guy out there asking people for money. And I see him out there, like, rummaging through the trash and, like, walking up to people and trying to ask them for money. And I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this. So our store had, like, a back door. So I got in the back and we had a power washer. And I mean, like, this fucker was, like, this shit could get, like, tar off of, like, our concrete. Like, it is fucking gnarly. And it sits where, like, the sun is just beating on it all fucking day. And it's always on, so it's full of water. And I'm like, fuck this guy. So I grabbed this hose and I cranked the pressure like max, and I mean, like, this fucker is like bursting. And I go walking over, and he's sitting there and he's talking to people, and I let him have it. I fucking blast this guy with scalding hot.
Kinda.
I mean,
hey, we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
From outer space.
Yeah. So, sorry about my shitty internet, by the way. It'll
He's not
hopefully
really
be
sorry.
fixed in a couple of weeks when I don't have to be on wireless. Because there's no cables running this house.
At all?
Are there even any cables in that city?
The only freaking cable we have in this house is right where the TV is. And that's in the front room. I can't start poking holes in the walls, start running cable. This is not my house. Next house, maybe though. But the modem's gonna be in the computer room, so it's the TV that's gonna be on the wireless. Hey.
Hey.
So anyways,
You can't just do finger guns all the time, Frank. That's where you're wrong.
You don't fucking know me.
well,
We're gonna open up the next podcast with everybody but Neil doing this.
We should all do it at Neil.
Yeah. Wait, wrong way.
Oh
Some
my
Brady
God.
Bunch shit right here.
We're all terrible.
Indeed. All right, so before we go, we'll cover one more thing so we can wash the taste out of our mouth from Jarrett murdering a hobo.
It's out of my mouth.
Yeah, he
Sorry.
never was confirmed murdered.
I'm glad that you're worried about.
Also, statute of limitations by now. I'm even if
Look, I've seen too many crime shows to know that they don't give a shit about that when murder's involved.
he probably didn't die.
So who out there has the best customer service, do you think?
Like, what are we limiting it to?
Anybody.
Anyone?
Any company.
Oh, just company?
Yeah.
Any company or service?
What's the difference?
Well, because a service would, in this case, I would say, like, if we were just going for service, I'd probably say the U.S. Army.
Okay.
Because they go through extensive training.
Yeah, how about businesses then?
That's not really customer service, though.
I mean, it is if you're going out and you're helping people.
They're not customers.
It
Yeah.
depends on who you ask.
They're
Well, no
helping
one's
them to
asking
an
you,
early
Frank.
grave.
No, I'm not talking about the people they shoot at.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, wait, okay, now that is a completely different moral quandary. I don't know. I think the firehouse near my house is good. That's about all I'm pulling, because every time I call insurance places, I want to scream and I want to kill the person on the other side of the phone.
Well, insurance
Because
itself is a
they don't
travesty.
listen. And then tech support places are awful because they also do not listen.
Taco Bell is awful because they always fuck my order up.
Also true. But again, it depends on Taco Bell, because we have a lady that works here at the Taco Bell that I know her voice, and every time I pull up to the window, if she doesn't answer, whenever I pull up and if it's not her that says anything, I just drive through. Because every time it's anyone other than her, my order's either always fucked up or it's cold or something's wrong with it, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. But if it's her, I've gone up to the window and she'll open up the order and go, "This is wrong and it's cold. Redo it." I'm like, I love you. I love you so much.
It certainly does depend on the Taco Bell. What about that one where that dude pooped in the beans?
Yeah, that's not the best.
I mean, it depends on what you're into.
I mean, if I'm gonna eat poop, I'd like to know about it. Thanks.
Name is Hans und I want to have one more Scheißen burrito.
I think this company is rated the best in customer service by far. Apple. Yeah, I said it.
I mean, like, if you
Bye, guys.
have like shave sides and then long in the middle, and you've got the watch and the plaid shirt and the horn rim glasses, and you have like drink your designer beers and whatever. God
Fair.
damn, I hate so much.
No, actually, I mean, as far as how well they take care of their customers, it's they've taken surveys, and Apple is just way far above everybody else.
I just like
I think it's because everyone that uses Apple just
No, you want to know why? I'll tell you why.
I just feel like so far most people that I've ever met that use Macs and Apples, they're very snowflakey. So I feel like they just don't want to say anything hurtful to anybody else.
No, okay, so here's Apple's policy, basically.
See you later, Age.
Even if you're a year or two out of warranty, I mean, let's be real. They don't fix their shit, all right? They don't repair anything.
Just throw it away.
You take your fucking phone. It's a little fucked up. It's a little chopped up. It's got some cracks in the screen. You take it to the Genius Bar. Say, hey. Did you not know they were called the Genius Bar?
Pretentious motherfuckers in there.
Oh yeah, it's so pretentious. Anyways, you take it in there, you say, hey, my shit's broke. Can you fix it? They're like, yeah, we'll totally fix it. They take it in the back. and they come out, and your phone looks like it's brand new.
Like,
Because it
so
is.
Because it is.
They don't fix shit. They just give you new shit.
I would love to like belly up to the Genius Bar and be like, I need you to pick this phone and solve this advanced fourth dimensional quadratic equation. And they're like, I don't know how to do that. Put your hand on the table. Why? Because I'm gonna cut your fucking fingers off for lying.
You ain't no genius. You ain't no nerd.
I could have swore you was.
It's terrible.
So that being
That
said,
anyone who's part of the Genius
I-
Bar feel like should just be kicked right in the fucking nuts.
I think bodybuilding.com has pretty good customer service.
you would.
Not just saying that because my wife works there, but like legitimately, they have good customer service.
With all the shovels of grain of salt. He's like, I think that bodybuilding.com, www.bodybuilding.com, where you can buy a
Pay
sale
me.
on all of the things that you can to get as swole as humanly possible. But I'm not affiliated, and I'm not selling out or anything.
This is not a paid advertisement, but please give me money if you like.
I wish it was.
They give you money if you can. I mean, if you want to.
It's not a paid advertisement. Yet.
Or is it?
I've never had a problem with them. Like anytime that I've ever ordered anything from, I mean, something's fucked up, I call. I can't talk to my wife, so I mean, I have to get it service from somebody else. Everyone's always been super fucking nice. Go fuck yourself, Frank.
All
What
right,
do you think
so
about that?
Who
I
has
think your beard looks so nice.
Thank you.
who has the worst customer service?
Del Taco.
Brent.
EA
Really?
or Capcom? They kind of hide.
Is there like customer service? Or is it just policy?
Policy to be Satan.
I know, but I mean, like, there is
But
it
I mean,
really.
like-
When we say customer service, something like like I'm interacting with a customer, that customer service. I mean, like, if you're talking like Capcom, are you talking like the decisions that they make as a company as far as like DLC and paid advertisements and shit, etc. Or are you talking about like the interaction between the company itself and then the people?
Okay. Well, if we're talking that, then I would say Steam.
Yeah,
Steam is awful.
fucking bad.
I don't know. You know who has definitely the worst customer service? YouTube.
That is true.
They just keep on
Fuck you.
fucking people.
They do not give a shit about anyone.
They're like, does your initials start with P and end with an UDPie? Then they probably don't care about you.
Like, that guy can get away with saying the worst shit possible. We're just gonna, kick you in the wallet a little bit. Everybody else, banned.
Stop it.
Immediately banned. No two questions about it.
It's true. It's true.
Well, I think on that note, what do you guys think? We good? We good to go?
It's good. If I get any more good, I'll be bad.
You
Stop it.
I can't stop. It's a sickness.
either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
I can't. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Anyways, well, that's the podcast, folks. If
Did you like being a Josie Whale?
If you liked what you heard, please rate, comment, subscribe. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We're not hard to find. I don't know what Ryan's doing.
It's
but,
like the enemy all over again.
it's
Such
reenactment.
animation.
One Punch Man puppet show. Go.
Anywho, yeah, give us some feedback, guys, because seriously, I know you guys are listening and you're like, oh, I like the show. I'm just not going to say anything to anybody about anything. Just, come on.
Just tell us if you don't like Neil. It's fine. We don't like him either, but
Tell me how witty I am. I
I'll-
need that kind of reaffirmation.
I'll leave, I mean, if you want me to.
Look, he's barely hanging in there as it is. God bless him. Don't drag him further out.
I'm dwindling on this shitty Wi-Fi over here.
he's like literally Mr. House. But Neil,
Yeah. Hooked up to machines. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We shall see you next time. Bye.
bye.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me mad.